What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Unplugged and Uncut, the news source for sports, news, and entertainment. Good morning. Today we're going to be getting into the San Antonio Spurs and 23 free agents they might want to target. That's right, we're going to get into the players, whether we think they should offer them a contract, and what it might take. All right. But before we get started, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. I will be giving away that PlayStation 5 and a game of your choice once we hit 100,000 subscribers. All you got to do to be entered to win is be an active subscriber and drop comments in the comment section. But without further ado, there's just too many free agents available this year, guys. So I broke down 23 free agents we might see the Spurs talk to. And I'm just going to take them in the order I got. I do got 4 or 5 at the end. We'll get into a little bit more in depth. So let's get started with the first free agent on our list. And that is Gary Harris, 27-year-old shooting guard, a three-point shooter. Now for Gary Harris, I would say he's making $21 million this year, so he should be able to get him at a more affordable contract. And if you're going to get rid of Jay Richardson, meaning like he's going to be traded to another team, then a minimum contract for Gary Harris, $3 to $5 million, isn't a bad offer. Once again, that's only if you're losing Jay Rich, and he's willing to come off that $21 million. The number 2 on my player on my list, is actually one of my favorite players in the league, and that is the 27-year-old shooting guard, Zach LaVine. It's going to take $34+ million max contract. This guy is an all-star player, could play the 1, 2, or 3, and he is really good friends with DeJounte Murray, which is a bonus. And actually, guys, I am okay with offering Zach LaVine a max contract if you have a plan for Devin Vassell and Josh Primo. So if you know what you're going to do with your 2 young guards, they could play the 2 or 3, then I'll go with Zach LaVine. If not, got to be careful there. And just because he's a really good friend of DeJounte Murray, too, I think you got instant chemistry. The next player on our list, I'm going to go ahead and say no before I even get into it. And that is Ricky Rubio, 31-year-old point guard. I'm okay on Ricky Rubio, guys. If you say we could use another point guard or ball handler, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to argue that. We do only have 2 point guards on the team with Murray and Trey Jones, so I'm not going to argue that. I just feel like other players can handle the ball as well. Next up, because it's a whole lot of them, guys, we got Joe Ingles. The smooth shooting Joe Ingles is coming off a $13 million year. He's a small forward, can play power forward. He's turning 34, or he is 34. I'm sorry, guys. Now, for me, Joe Ingles is going to fall into that if you trade category again. So if you trade Doug McBuckets, not Josh Richardson, if you trade Dougie McBuckets, they're bringing in Joe Ingles to replace him makes kind of not bad. It makes kind of sense to me. Kind of makes sense if I said that backwards, probably. I just woke up. Sorry, guys. But for Joe Ingles, I'm not giving him more than a minimum contract. $5 million at the most. That's right. Next up, we got Taurean Prince coming in at $12 million. 28-year-old power forward, small forward. He's from San Antonio. That's about the only good thing I can say, guys. Taurean Prince has been falling out of the lineups everywhere he's gone so far, so I'm kind of on the fence on this one, and I would say no. But I mean, a 15th player, end of the bench, minimum contract, if you guys want to offer that, I'm not going to go against you. But in my opinion, it's a no. All right, next up, we got Jusuf Nurkic. So Nurkic out of Portland, 27-year-old center. Sorry, I messed his first name up a little bit, guys. Now, for me, Nurkic is a really good player, but I'm going to say no due to injuries. And I'm going to kind of be setting up an oxymoron here. And what I mean by that is I'm going to say no to Nurkic, but the next player I actually got triangled because of injuries. So I hate to contradict myself. But that next player is T.J. Warren, guys. 28-year-old small forward, and he's been hurt. And that's a big but. And I'm not talking about the song. I like it. I'm talking about but what ifs. Guys, What is the price for TJ Warren? Are you able to lock him up for 5 to 10 million for 3 to 4 years? Oh my, I would do that. And I'm gonna tell you why. TJ Warren could slide right in with the current team the Spurs got and play that small forward, power forward position extremely well. This man is well over 20 points a game when healthy, a really good bucket getter, and would make a great addition to the San Antonio Spurs. So I think TJ Warren is one of those players like Zach Collins. Once a year, you might take a gamble on. And that's why I got him pyramided or triangled up, because I think TJ Warren would be a good fit with this current iteration of the San Antonio Spurs. Next up on the list, because it keeps going, guys, it's going to get better and better. Jeremy Lamb, the 29-year-old shooting guard. Now, I got a question mark by him because what are you going to do with Jay Rich? He's falling in that Gary Harris type feel to me. Jeremy Lamb's a good shooter. He knows his position and he knows his role. You don't got to expect him to do too much or too little. He's going to come out there and do what you ask him to do. He has been hurt a few times, but I wouldn't say he's necessarily injury prone. But Jeremy Lamb, minimum contract, why not? Especially if you're trading away Josh Richardson. So remember that. We're not picking up Jeremy Lamb if we got Jay Rich. We only got, for the Spurs, I should have went into the roster breakdown real quickly. Technically, if you look at the Spurs real quickly, DeJounte, Devin, Keldon, Jakob, top 4 players. That's 4. Trey Jones, Primo, Rich, McBuckets, Collins, and Jacques Landale. That's 10, 11 players right there, and you only got 15 spots. And the Spurs got 4 draft picks, not to mention Lonnie Walker, Romeo Langford, and a few others. So that's why, guys, we're not going to just be picking up everybody. And I'm saying question marks. What's going to happen with Josh Richardson? The next player up, oh my. Ooh, and I got this one circled. This is the only restricted free agent on our list, guys. I really don't want to deal with restricted free agents because the teams usually match those. But this situation with DeAndre Ayton has gotten really, really interesting. He's a 23-year-old center, a straight monster. Maybe doesn't bring the high level energy that Phoenix wants every game. But he seems to be a beast from what I could tell from watching him play. So if I'm the San Antonio Spurs, I am offering him a max contract no matter what. Even if you don't think you can get him, you offer DeAndre a max contract. That way Phoenix has to put all their money into DeAndre Ayton to retain him. And their contract situations are going to look like CP3 getting older, Booker, and Ayton. It's going to make it harder to keep that team getting more quality talent when you got Ayton maxed out. And that's why the Spurs got to offer a max contract to make sure the Phoenix Suns do not get DeAndre Ayton at any type of discount. No discounts. Max that man out. Now, we're not saying we're going to get Ayton, guys. We're just saying we're trying to push that pressure on Phoenix Suns to have to match that max contract and kind of mess up their future contract situations that they have going on in the future with their players that might need contracts coming up. All right. And so next on the list, we're going to stick with centers, is Serge Ibaka. That's right, 32-year-old center, really good three-point shooter, excellent defender, does stay hurt. However, Serge Ibaka is a good player, and at a minimum contract, he does have winning ways. So I'm not mad or not going to say no to Serge Ibaka. I'm going to check to see if he's healthy. He's an automatic upgrade over Jacques Landale and Zach Collins. Even though he's a little older, he's a better player. So Serge Ibaka, if he's healthy and you need him on your team, I am not mad, guys, if you want to offer Serge Ibaka a minimum contract. Next player on the list is a power forward, a position of need for the San Antonio Spurs. 28-year-old Montrezl Harrell. No thanks. My bad, guys. I couldn't even get that one out. No thanks. Pass. Next. Derek Jones Jr. Sorry, Montrez. Small forward, 25-year-old. Now, I got a question mark by Derek Jones Jr. because this kid is highly athletic. He can fly. He plays excellent defense. And you throw him in there with Chip, you never know what's going to happen with this man's shooting. Could get better. We don't know. But he's athletic, jumps through the gym, can fly, and he plays defense. So I did put him on the list. I put a question mark there, guys. I don't know how much Derek Jones is going to command. Interesting. So I just put him on the list to see what you guys think about that name being brought up. Now, the next player on the list, we all know very well as Spurs fans, and that is the slow motion man himself, Kyle Anderson, coming off of $9 million. Would be an easy plug and play to bring back slow motion. He could start or come off the bench. Now, he's 28-year-old forward. He made $9 million this year. Would slow-mo accept a $3 to $5 million contract? I don't know, but if he is willing to accept that type of contract, I think Kyle Anderson is a great player to have on the Spurs and could really help them win some games. He could start or come off the bench in that power forward position, and he's a really good point forward. Next up on the list, I'm going to kind of group both of these guys together, guys. That is right, because I'm cool with either one, even though they're similar. They're both different centers. They're 34-year-old centers. JaVale McGee, Robin Lopez. And for JaVale McGee, this man might be 34, but he is an athletic 34. That man can fly. He jumps through the gym. He's catching every lob. He might throw your shot into the stands. I really like JaVale McGee's activity and energy level he plays with. I do not have a problem with JaVale McGee or Robin Lopez, especially if you don't believe in Jacques Landale. If you're the Spurs and you're up close in that situation, why not bring in a monster like JaVale McGee or Robin Lopez for $3 million, $3 to $5 million minimum contract? An actual serviceable backup where you're not going to lose that much, especially on the defense. JaVale McGee can ball. Next up, so I like the JaVale McGee, Robin Lopez, either one. I have no problem with that signing, guys. $3 to $5 million. But this next one, ooh, man. A shooting guard, small forward, that has a lot of untapped potential. Could be an excellent two-way player. In fact, I would give this guy a two-way contract, and that is Josh Jackson. At the worst, I would offer him a two-way contract or end of the bench type contract. Josh Jackson, former lottery pick, 25-year-old shooting guard, small forward. Man, I think this kid still has a lot of untapped potential. And if you're able to get him on a two-way contract or that 15th player on the roster type contract, why not let him spend some time with Chip and work on that jump shot, get into the Spurs system out there in Austin, learn the offense, and see if you can incorporate a player that has untapped potential at a very minimum deal. I like that. All right. So the next player on our list, guys, we are already at 16. That is right. And that is another bring back that a lot of people are going to be mad about that I even mentioned his name. That is the power forward centered 36-year-old Hollywood, LA, LaMarcus Aldridge. Would you guys mind a minimum contract for a veteran leader who can just get you buckets at will? It seemed like every time the Brooklyn Nets put LaMarcus Aldridge in the game, he was getting you like 15 to 20 points in 10 minutes. I'm like, good Lord. Good Lord. Sorry, that's about as old as I can make my voice sound. Good Lord. Sorry, guys. But yeah, LA was giving you buckets. So I'm not mind about LA coming back. In fact, I wouldn't even mind a minimum contract in a veteran type leader position, where he's helping the youngsters get better and better. All right, after LaMarcus Aldridge, guys, we got two players again I'm going to group together, 17 and 18, and another set of similar centers. Now, the age is very different. Dwight Howard, 36, Andre Drummond, 28. Dwight Howard is in excellent shape, plays above the rim. I mean, he's a monster on defense and a great lob threat. You can't take that away from Dwight Howard. But Andre Drummond, A walking double-double. But same as above, Dwight Howard. Do the Spurs want those type of personalities? And I don't want to call them knuckleheads. What can we call Dwight Howard? I don't know. I don't want to call anybody any names, but do the Spurs want that type of character on their roster? Dwight Howard and Andre Drummond have both bounced around, have had some type of, I don't want to say character issues, but have had run-ins with other players. So I'm going to say, yeah, they're in excellent shape and really good players, but I'll pass. Uh-oh. We are about to get into our top players available, guys. That is right. As we hit number 19 on the list. And guys, you're going to be able to see number 19 play right now for the Miami Heat in the playoffs on a $2.3 million contract as he tries to get himself back into shape and playing shape and get that form back. That is the 30-year-old shooting guard, Victor Oladipo. And for Oladipo, I got a question mark, maybe. And the reason I got a question mark, maybe, that's because the Spurs have a situation with Lonnie Walker IV and Jay Rich. If you're going to keep Lonnie Walker IV and Jay Richardson, or Josh Richardson, then there's really no need for Victor Oladipo. However, if those guys are out the team, I think a 2-year contract for Victor Oladipo as a sixth man on your team is an excellent pickup. That's right. So for Victor Oladipo being only 30 years old and looking like he's getting his form back, he's one of those players you might want to try and buy low on while it's still an option. Because after 2 or 3 years and he's getting his form back at 32, 33, he might want that last big payday. So I would say maybe to Victor Oladipo, what's the price? How long can we get him? And does he fulfill a position of need? Do we have Lonnie Walker, Jay Richardson? If we got those guys, I'm all right. If not, Victor Oladipo is a strong sixth man of the year candidate. That is right. Uh-oh. We into the top 3, guys. Ooh. The next player on my list is the 28-year-old small forward, Otto Porter. That is right, Otto Porter. I'm just going to straight say yes. Otto Porter can start, come off the bench, $3 to $5 million. I'm not sure how much is going to command, but Otto Porter, I would definitely sign at 28. I'd offer him a multi-year deal, $3 to $5 million, maybe even one of those our contracts where it's not hurting us, like a veteran contract or something like that, where we get them up a little higher, mid-level exception contract, 5 to 10, 5 to 9 million. I mean, this guy can start, come off the bench, and he's going to be a reliable three-point shooter and an excellent defender on multiple positions. So Otto Porter definitely like and would pick him up. Ooh, the next two, the final two, is coming down. And I'm going to go with Malik Monk, the 24-year-old shooting guard out of Kentucky. Ooh, used to roll with De'Aaron Fox. This kid can ball, you guys. I would easily say yes to Malik Monk. There's no way I'm saying no to Malik Monk. I'm sorry, especially if I'm losing Jay Rich or Lonnie Walker. If I'm keeping Jay Rich and just Lonnie Walker's gone, I still might say yes to Malik Monk. This kid can get you 30 on any given game. He's got that explosive takeover power where he can just lead you to a win with his offense. I would treat him like a sixth man of the year. And honestly, if Josh Richardson is out, Malik Monk is in. If I'm keeping Josh Richardson and Lonnie Walker, then obviously there's not going to be room for Malik Monk. But if Lonnie is gone, Jay Rich is gone, Malik Monk sounds like a strong option for a sixth man of the year candidate. And I would have the contract sitting at 3 to 8 million, somewhere in there, guys. And my last player, actually, on our list today is the 24-year-old Mitchell Robinson, center out of New York. I would say yes, guys, 3 to 9 million if you trade Jakob Poeltl. If the Spurs trade Jakob Poeltl and are trying to move up into the draft, they pick up Paolo Banchero somehow with Jacoperto and 1 million draft picks, then Mitchell Robinson would be a nice player to slide right next to him. Even if you're not picking up Paolo Banchero, you know what I mean? Mitchell Robinson is an excellent defensive player. He's a lob threat. He's a shot blocker and a rim runner. He's not going to give you much touch on the jump shots and things like that. But he's a really, really good player. And if you're going to lose Jacoperto's defense, why not go ahead and bring in Mitchell Robinson? $3 to $9 million is about the contract I would offer him. I wouldn't go over $9 million because that's what I'm paying Jacoperto right now. And I think Jacoperto's a little bit better than Mitchell Robinson. Overall, all-around game, I think Mitchell Robinson is a better athlete, shot blocker, rim runner. Bam. Guys, we just went through 23 free agents. That's right, that the Spurs might want to talk to. Guys, I want to hear who you think out of this list, or even players that I missed, because there's so many free agents. I just had to narrow it down to players I thought the Spurs might talk to and go after. And especially with having the 4 draft picks, I don't think the Spurs pick up all 4 draft picks this year, but you got to have some roster spots open. So that's why a lot of these free agents, I think, are going to have to deal with how we treat our players on our roster right now, and not treat them, but what happens with their situation. Are we going to trade McBuckets, Josh Richardson? Are we going to re-sign Lonnie Walker? Are we going to trade Jacoperto? Jacoperto's name was heavy in trade rumors this year, guys, so that's why I got him starred up. Might be traded, especially as we get closer to that draft, where we know everybody's position and where everybody's seating now, guys. But there's a lot of great free agents available. I'm going to take the time to read the comments to see what you guys think. But that's all I got on the free agents available today, guys. And I'll talk to y'all later. Because for now, your boy out. Peace.